Tyler Wallace, also the headliner, who leads Walsh, Egan, and Wilkie follow her up in the lineup. The DP will be Olivia Gigante, Sarah Longley, and Lorenz at one point in her career. We have not seen. Up and away, and Wallace works the leadoff walk. Walton describes as a professional hitter, and throughout the course of her up and away, 2-1 to Sharp. Consensus first team All-American.
Everything was consistent, everything remained the same. She was really just challenging herself.
Big cut, throw down to second, did not get Wallace. For Florida working a couple of counts.
Fun to tune into as a softball fan, really. And you're right, the Florida Gators had no problem scoring runs.
In the outfield, Mudge, Kerr, and Waycaser Reed. Out to right field, Waycaser on the run, secures out number 2, but the Gators will strike. Pal Egan, her career began at the JUCO level, then to
that's been here. She's still a freshman as it sits, and so really just calming her down, getting those nerves down. You know, hey,
Georgia, who has caught for Florida. Slow roller to third, Harding to first. And Wilkie and the to get it started in the bottom half.
Yeah, and what you expect. You're probably going to see a lot of east to west movement. She'll flip a change here and there.
Punch, counter punch. And we talked about Florida 8 games. Kaylee Mudge has been impressive as well. And after Flaherty works the leadoff walk, it'll be Mudge stepping in for the Noles. Good numbers once again.
And one thing about Coach as we call her, let me just relieve some of that pressure, get you going.
Lays down a bunt, it was a beauty, does her job.
Off that pressure, you don't really have to worry about getting on base.
Harding turns on it, on the ground to third. Flaherty hung up between second and
Charlotte Eccles, just very good.
Do exactly what Harding just did.
Yeah, absolutely. Just you hit that nail on the head. Just very great base runner right there.
First baseman out of Normal, Illinois, two-way player for the... Found that one back. Everybody wants the call. Only one's going to get it. And Leonard's going to record a single into right. Coming home is Harding. She will score. Throw back to second. All over the country. And we talked earlier about
Florida and their success. You have to go and try to equalize the moment, right? And I think really just kind of going back to that point of what does.
One of a few players from California on the Gators roster. There's strikeout number 1.
Maybe settling down a little bit, really trusting her stuff.
Strikeout number 2 for Reed.
And just how big was it for her?
Turned on this one, it's to first, and it's all Mac Leonard's. 1, 2, 3 runs and interest in softball.
Prepare her for these moments and to prepare her for those numbers that you just read off.
Florida, it's literally, what, 20 minutes from here? A year and a half, already become something of a legend here in Tallahassee for how hard.
Garage is a very good distance from the field, but she.
And it's inside. Edenfield leads Florida's team in batting average. Those numbers have come down.
Hitting how she wants to for the team, but she's still been able to be consistent and make things happen.
It'll go down as in Katie Dack, the transfer from Texas A&M. She sees, and it is foul.
From my end, but that definitely looked like it hooked fair.
Florida State's going to score the go-ahead run. On the ground, back to Hightower. Force is at the plate, and Waycaser is hung up between third and home.
Still in the same position at second and third.
First pitch she sees, lines it to center field, and that'll put an end to the second. But Florida's lead, Tiffany Brown, here in this last inning of work. Cases in some places has changed. It's somebody who you trust at the bottom of the order, and that throw by Reed gets away at first. And that is a addition.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that number.
Made her way 60 feet away and then was able to tag up on a sac fly.
Yeah, absolutely. Speed kills, and it's something really that.
Officially Stole a base, advanced on a wild pitch, and scored on a sac.
Easy ground ball to second base. That's a win. Gonna challenge to see if they can hold what she just did, lift something deep into the outfield. Really think under the ball, drive.
He knew she had All-American potential during. They'll have to wait.
Kind of just.
Right field, Walsh put a charge into it, and Florida takes the lead right back. Third puts the Gators on top 3-2. Egan was the Southland Conference Player of the Year. But she's rung up for the strikeout there. McKenna Reed does in fact in the house. So some throwback football vibes as well. Kaylee Mudge stepping into the batter's box. Florida State will go 2-3-4.
That energy, that passion.
Flaherty would end up getting caught in a rundown, but Kaylee Harding in the midst of the rundown was able to get on the ground to second. Walsh, the home run hitter, puts away Mudge at first. That caught up Devin Flaherty, came in to score as
It's like a silent assassin almost for her. Just, you know, we talked about professional for Charlotte Eccles, and I think
they've been finding the gaps at a more regular clip than they've been. Softball down there in Lubbock.
Yeah, and I was just thinking, ironically, it would be, you know, a battle between. Was here when I was here, my coach. Shout out to Coach.
Instrumental in building the program to national championship caliber. And Florida State, that is 1-for-1 with the RBI single.
Not usually what you see from the Florida State Seminoles. Very smart base runners, aggressive. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in a big game like this, you know, hey, shake it off. Coach is probably telling her to shake it off, talk about maybe what she was thinking, and then get after it.
Only strikeout recorded for Hightower. Field, that'll get off the wall. Runners in scoring position.
Thanks, Sean. Talked to Coach Alameda earlier this week.
To be sure, and she passes the bat along to the ever-dangerous Michaela Eden. Edenfield will take a second to recollect, and you mentioned the numbers not being in position. This one hit hard to center, but on a line and into the glove of Avery Gels. And so that puts an end. Packs plenty of heat. Allie Dubois has a Florida State. Took a red shirt a year ago, and there is the changeup in there for strike one.
And what's so dangerous? I think just frustrating. Craft field, I mean, one of the toughest places to play. As you hear the crowd roar right there after that big strikeout from.
5 strikes. Better than most he's seen defensively as a catcher, and this is a player who is a middle infielder.
So you have, you know, the chance to be in the line.
Indeed, she does. Third K. That was like a play, or if he just meant it in the literal. Florida State 7-8-9. 1-1 to the Noles right fielder. And you mentioned about how, and so too did Alleyway Kaser tore hers about 4 games into the COVID shortened campaign. Janai Kerr did as well. That ball bobbled out in right.
Yeah, I think
Florida State has had their leadoff aboard since the first inning when Flaherty walked on 4 pitches. You mentioned, Tiffany, about being able to
my moment, refocus, and step in the box, get ready.
Another free pass issued by Elizabeth.
You know, tying run, maybe go ahead run. You know, how can you refocus, calm down, kind of stay in that moment?
Controlling all of the adrenaline and the anxiety in the moment. And to Oda Muffley, and that will drop. Florida State will look to score the go-ahead. Elizabeth Hightower's start has concluded.
No hitter, but really crafty lefty right here, attacks the zone, and really relies on
Flaherty.
And I think one of the biggest is that she's now coming from that left side, you know, as opposed to Hightower.
About the tweak to the lineup a few weekends ago by line games, both batting nearly 400. The previous 8, each around 80 points lower. And so while the numbers were solid,
in Florida get 2 or vice versa, and right now it's working, so why? Being a team at bat right there.
flip to the plate, doesn't get her.
Why it didn't so much, and Muffley was able to see.
That one's hit hard into the hole. Wallace to first, got her in time. Hit hard, back to Wallace, and Wallace makes another quality play. This one puts an end
to a rivalry game ready to go, and we've seen that.
4 straight for Knowles pitching as Dubois now squares off Tiffany, and I'm sure this is the case for a lot of players on either side.
Things, at least from when I was in the game, and very good organization down there. And so
the order, Kendra, the center fielder, here in the 9th spot of the order for Florida, and it was that speed that caused the chaos. Harding goes to first and pulls tremendous career and another highly in the circle.
She's saying she's not a pitcher only. She's what we call a utility player. That's exactly what you came to see. The ace again.
On the ground to first. Nice pick by Kane. She'll beat Wallace to the bag.
Again, that backhand looked very easy, and not to mention
hard hit but foul. And another one here to make it a run game. This one lifted a mile high in the air, out into no man's land. There to make the play, Kaylee Mudge ranges in.
Some of these games against the Power 5 conferences, so
it's always so fun for me to hit, and then the pin drop quiet that occurs, but Edenfield did ground into the
so easy. Even, I mean, today turning the double plays has become
power that she had in high school. Coach Alameda has said she is exactly the player we and that'll cue Katie Dack.
Florida State Seminole.
While we've got a second, I'll mention that Florida, being a home run, also earned a walk this time, looks to ground out to third. Florida gets through the 5th and ball complex. Now Catherine Sander.
It's really just unheard of.
Deep in the hole, Muffley to first.
Knows that, and she buys into that. She doesn't come in thinking that she's going to strike out.
1 and 2. Career before coming to Florida, hung Gators national championship team. Keeps a picture of that team with her to remember them, but living out her dream. Despite that moment, mentioned how Katie Kistler checked into the outfield in the last half-inning defense. And that loop is snared by Bethany Keene. Resume the action here. Florida State will go 9-1-2 into the infield. She'll man first, and Wilkie becomes the DP. She started the day as the first base.
On the field for the win. National championship teams, that crafty lefty, not one that's going to blow it by you, but really good changeup, just a consistent pitcher, and probably one of the best ones that I was able to.
Against Florida in this rivalry series.
Yeah, if you're a Florida State Seminole, you like that. You like to hear the four.
Here in the bottom of the 6th, as it stands, respective softball players here in the Southeast especially. Pop up off the bat of Harding. That'll put an end to the Knowles effort.
Think about the next pitch. You want to focus on one pitch at a time.
Well hit ball out to the right center gap. Longley kicks off Florida's offensive. 0-2. Down she goes. Big response from Cap. A single in a. Down she goes. Massive strikeout for Sam. List for the USA Softball Player of the Year. And if the season, like she does right here, turns on that one, off to first. It is all Keen, and it is all program high. In about a week's time, down